The Beatles has been a fascination of mine for a long time, ever since I started to take pop keyboard lessons. When I was a kid, I grew up listening to the Beatles and knowing their melodies. And when I became an adult and revisited it, I realized there's got to be a fascinating story here that people haven't heard, despite the fact that the Beatles are everywhere and people listen to them, people talk about them. What happened that made them so big?
One, two, three, four.
She was just 17, you know what I mean.
The Men Behind the Music, the Beatles edition, is a live musical documentary.
They call it the 20th century's greatest romance.
We walk the audience behind the scenes of what's really going on during the Beatles' reign as the most popular, most admired rock group in the world. That whole wild ride that really nobody in history has lived again.
John removes his shirt and, well, as the producer said, he absolutely screamed it. God alone knows what he did to his larynx each and every time he performed it, because he made this sound that was rather like tearing flesh. The very first take is still the one used today. A 1, 2, 3.
It's managed to unearth a new side of the Beatles. People won't find this anywhere else. The way this history fits together and works, to me, it's just amazing. But beyond that, it helps you understand the music better.
At this point, he's eating too much, he's drinking too much, he's anxious and overwhelmed. He writes a slow, downbeat piano song that's meant to be his own personal cry for help. It's turned into an upbeat rocker because they think it would sell better, and it bothers Lennon for years.
When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way.
2, 3, 4.
I need somebody help, not just anybody help. You know I need someone help.
It all comes from a melody that came to Paul so easily in a dream one night. He actually spends months trying to figure out whether he's actually written this melody or maybe he's just got someone else's song stuck in his head.
Yesterday.
The show is for Beatles fans who have listened to the Beatles, who have all the albums, because they're going to see another perspective of the Beatles that they have never seen in a book or a Wikipedia entry or anything like that. But the show is also for people who really know next to nothing about the Beatles and who are interested in that time in history or is interested to kind of be taken back to their childhood, because we talk about everything living at that time, and it was an amazing decade.
Made my way upstairs and had a smoke, and somebody spoke and I went into a dream.
All of this groundbreaking work, their innovations, the things that they had that really had never happened before the Beatles, and there were so many. All of that happened in this wild 7-year time that really will never be repeated.